I eat less. I try hard. I count calories. And the weight won't move. If you've ever said those words, you've run into a problem that rarely gets talked about. The issue might not be what you're doing. It might be the state your body is in when you do it. Last time we talked about insulin, and we asked, why does it start rising chronically in the first place? One of the answers might surprise you. Cortisol is a hormone made by the adrenal glands. Its job is to save you in dangerous situations. You're running late for a meeting. There was a conflict. Money's tight until the end of the month. In response to these signals, the body produces cortisol, the mobilization hormone. In short doses, it's useful. It sharpens focus, gives energy, helps you deal with a threat. But when those signals don't stop, the body gets stuck in a state of chronic alert. The first thing chronically elevated cortisol does is raise blood sugar, even if you're not eating carbs, even if you're not eating at all. Here's how it works. The body, sensing a threat, starts producing glucose from internal stores, including from muscle tissue. The logic is simple. If you might need to run or fight, you need fast energy. Blood sugar rises. The pancreas responds with insulin. You already know from the last video, when insulin is high, fat burning is blocked. The body can't store fat and burn it at the same time. This isn't a malfunction, it's physiology. Chronic cortisol triggers insulin. Insulin blocks fat burning. And this happens regardless of what's on your plate. But there's one more detail. And it explains why the scale stays silent even when fat is actually leaving. In its chemical structure, cortisol resembles the hormone that controls water and salt balance. When there's too much of it, the kidneys start holding on to water and sodium. The result, your body can retain between 1 and 2 kilograms of extra fluid for weeks. Fat is leaving, but water is masking it. Then you get one genuinely good night of sleep. Cortisol drops, and in the morning, the scale shows 1.5 kilograms less. That's not fat burned overnight. That's just the water that was hiding it, finally gone. Now, the most unexpected part. Chronically high cortisol doesn't just block fat burning, it decides where the losses come from. On one hand, it breaks down muscle tissue. Muscle is expensive, it burns energy even at rest. On the other hand, it actively protects visceral fat, the fat around your internal organs. Why? From a survival standpoint, that fat is a strategic reserve close to the heart and liver. The body says, I'll burn the muscle, I'll keep the belly fat. From an evolutionary perspective, that makes sense. For someone on a diet, it feels like betrayal. And here's the most interesting finding. In 2010, researchers at the University of California ran an experiment. They put people on a calorie-restricted diet and measured cortisol levels. They rose by 16%. Dieting itself is stress for the body. A caloric deficit is a threat signal. The body doesn't know you're consciously eating less. It thinks food is scarce, and it responds the way evolution taught it to. It raises cortisol. In other words, by trying to lose weight through severe caloric restriction, you're literally raising the hormone that prevents it. There's one more factor that rarely gets mentioned. Sleep is one of the main mechanisms for resetting cortisol. Just 1 week of disrupted sleep is enough to keep cortisol elevated the next day. And the reverse, a good night's sleep isn't just rest, it's a biochemical reset. In other words, sleep is also a metabolic tool, no less important than what you eat. So, if you're eating less, trying hard, counting calories, and the weight won't move, maybe the problem isn't willpower. And it's not that you're doing something wrong. Maybe your body is receiving signals it reads as danger, and it responds accordingly. Cortisol isn't a villain. It's a system doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just that in the modern world, threat signals have become chronic. Understanding the mechanism is already seeing the picture in a different way. Next time, we'll talk about another side of this story. If this was useful, subscribe. More coming on what science actually knows about our bodies. and what we're rarely told.